Electronic Media Production and Research Center of Madhya Pradesh, Bhoj Open University presents its audio program, Indian Conception of Culture, Part 2. Friends, in the Eminent Scholar Lecture Series, today we are going to present the lecture of a great scholar of our country, Professor Tribikram Pati, who was a former Vice Chancellor of Allahabad University and Sri Jagannath Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya, Puri. Today we are going to present the second part of his lecture on the topic Indian Conception of Culture. In the first part, Professor Tribikram Pati had explained the word culture. He had given a very thought-provoking view on the Indian conception of culture. He has quoted largely from the Vedas and Upanishads to explain his view. Let's listen to the second part of the program.
Dharma has been more or less well understood and established. By whom? By our predecessors, ancestors. They worked on the question of dharma. What should be the dharma of an individual? And they studied the question very thoroughly, so much so that when Yaksha asks Yudhishthira, Kaha pantha, what is the path? How should a man live? Yudhishthira says, Tarko pratishtha shrutayascha bhinna naiko munirjasya matam pramanam. Tarko pratishtha, tarka, logic, is apratishtha. It is never final. One advocate will argue from one angle, the opponent will argue from just the opposite angle, and both will use tarka, logic. So logic is a very strange kind of instrument. It can be used to establish that this is the night time. It can also be used to establish that this is daytime, because the man will argue in favor of this statement that this is daytime, will say, why are you thinking only about this hemisphere? Go to the USA. Think of USA. It is daytime there. Proved. So you can see logic in the hands of logicians can be very troublesome. Tarka apratishtha. Tarko pratishtha shrutayascha bhinnaha. Different shrutis, different traditions have different attitudes. Then Naiko Munir, there is no saint, Yasya Matam Pramanam, whose opinion is final. Believe me, Indian saints never said that a particular opinion of a particular saint is the final opinion. They never said so. You will be happy to know that even Karl Marx did not say so. Even Marx gave in writing, I am not a Marxist. Why did he give that in writing? Because he knew that after him there would come the Marxists, and they would have definite standpoint, and they would say Marx, and none other than Marx understood the principles of political economy. And then they would make such fanfare of Marxism that Marx would be turning in his grave. And therefore Marx said, I am not a Marxist, I am not the last word. In the same spirit, our ancient saints had said, there should be freedom of thought. freedom of speech. Vade vade jayate tattvabodha. Tattvabodha is possible only when there are divergent views and there is debate. And this kind of debate used to take place in the Sabha. Rajarshi Janaka and Yajnavalkya used to be invited there. And this kind of debate takes place even nowadays. If you come to Allahabad and attend the Kumbh Mela, you will see that kind of debate. Different schools of thought propound their philosophies, and there is a wonderful exchange of views. That is to say, they want to establish their own standpoints, not that they are going to fight physically for the sake of establishing those standpoints. There is great friendship, there is camaraderie, and there is a feeling of brotherhood among the schools of thought which are of divergent views. So that indeed shows that we did not believe in any last word. Naiko munir yasya matam pramana dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano ye nagatasya pantha. Dharmasya tattvam. Dharma cannot be properly understood without considerable effort. Dharmasya tattvam, dharma tattva, is nihitam guhayam. Guha here does not mean a cave like Ajanta Ellora caves. Here guha means it is a gudha tattva. Nihitam guhayam, it is a secret which will require great understanding. With the help of gurus, with the help of acharyas, with the help of dharma pravartakas, we can understand dharma. Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano ye nagatasya pantha. And when there is a dispute or doubt as to how we should proceed, let us think of our tradition. Mahajana is the commonality of men, common men, men in general. How have they been directed in such circumstances by our saints? What is the principle for the common men and women that has been adopted in the past? That should be taken as dharma, as the pantha, and dharma will have to wait a little. And only after due cogitation, due interpretation, due attention to the fundamentals, dharma can be understood properly. But for the present, if there is lack of understanding of the secrets of dharma, we should not be idle. We should say, Mahajano ye nagatasya pantha. Mahajana je nagata. Now, Mahajana here does not mean a teli Mahajana. Satya and Ahimsa. Satyena vapyate param. We can attain the ultimate goal of life only through Satya. Satyam param dhimahi. Then Satyameva jayate. These indicate that we in India believe truth to be vital, fundamental. Then Ahimsa, the question has been asked by his pupil of Shankaracharya. Dwaram kimekam narakasya nari. Shankara is asked by his pupil, O Guru, what is the only way to be destroyed in hell? What is the only way to go to hell? Then Shankaracharya immediately says Nari. But here the word Nari should be properly interpreted. It does not mean any Nari. It means Varangana. A lady who is looked upon by whom? By some gentleman, so-called gentleman, as a toy, an object of physical pleasure. When woman is looked upon as an object of physical pleasure, as an instrument of pleasure, woman becomes Nari in the sense of Shankara used in this particular answer to the question, which is the way to hell. Then the first question was, Dwaram kimekam narakasya nari. Then the next question is, Ka swargada pranahrutam. What will lead to Swarga, to heaven, for the living beings? What will lead to heaven? Ka swargada pranabhutam ahimsa. The answer is ahimsa. So ahimsa is taken as Shankaracharya's reply to the question, which is the path to heaven? The answer is ahimsa, and this is what Mahatma Gandhi has adopted in his life, Satya and ahimsa. In fact, ahimsa was adopted as the highest principle by Gautama Buddha and by Mahavir Ji. These great personalities, not only they, Jesus Christ and several other great prophets looked upon ahimsa as fundamental. So Satya and ahimsa, these are the fundamental principles, the two wings on which would rest the flying power of the bird of dharma. And yet dharma will have to be very carefully interpreted, and different dharma shastras have been written in different stages of the evolution of the society. So I will not go further into the question of dharma here, but I will say that dharma is the guiding principle according to which karma should be modulated. So karma, which is in consonance with the principles of truthfulness, of ahimsa, of such great principles as yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata, where ladies are worshipped, gods reside. Such principles. The karma based upon such principles is the appropriate karma. That is karma in the true sense. In the sense in which in the Chaturvarga, in the Purusharthas, karma has been interpreted. Then we have to understand that karma is an intrinsic value. It is not an instrumental value. That means it is basic. Without karma there is no life. And what is the appropriate karma? That which is governed by dharma. But how can karma be fulfilled? How can desire be fulfilled? We all speculate about great ideas and think about great philosophies and principles of good life in the evening, and after that the government passes an order that no such person who has thought and speculated about high ideals will be able to take dinner. Dinner is now prohibited for all those who have done deep thinking in the evening, because they are philosophers, they are idealists, they have high ideas, so let them remain happy with their ideas. No dinner will be served to them. Artha is necessary. Artha does not mean money only. Artha means the means whereby kama can be fulfilled. The first fundamental means is the body. Shariramadyam khalu dharma sadhanam. Kalidas puts it beautifully. Shankara goes to test Parvati, whether Parvati really loves Shankara. He takes the form of a brahmachari and he goes there and asks, Api kriyartham sulabham samit kusham jalanyapi snana vidhikshamanite api svashaktya tapasi pravartase shariramadyam khalu dharma sadhanam. Are you practicing penance according to your capacity? Oh dear lady, you are a brahmacharini, you are practicing penance, very, very difficult penance. But please remember, Shariramadyam khalu dharma sadhanam. Shariram adyam dharma sadhanam khalu. That means definitely the body is the first and primary means of the attainment of the summum bonum of life. So, you can understand that artha is necessary. Artha does not mean only money. It means material requirements. Whatever material requirements are required, that will be the sum total to be called artha. It is a total concept, not a distributive concept, but a cumulative concept. So artha. Artha is not an intrinsic value. It is not a purushartha in the sense in which kama is. Kama is fundamental. It requires nothing to stand upon. It is that upon which whole of life stands. That is common. It is fundamental. It is therefore an intrinsic value. But artha is an instrumental value. It is the means for the attainment of moksha. So it is an instrument which will be used for the attainment of moksha. So it is to be called an instrumental value. And then the question is how to understand moksha. What is this moksha? Shankara was asked, Ke he tavo brahmagatestu santi. Tell us, O Guru, how we can get self-realization. Brahmopalabdhi, Atmopalabdhi, how we can get that? Then Shankara says, there are 4 principles involved, 4 means or hetu. One is satsangati. The fundamental requirement is satsangati. Like this goshti, it is a satsangati. And I have interpreted satsangati as something more than satam sangati. Satsangati normally means the sangati of the sat, of the saints, of the sadhus. But it is more than that. It is sate sangati. For the sake of what? Supposing I go to a great sadhu, a great saint, and then I say, आपका आशीर्वाद चाहिए. बेटा क्या चाहिए? आशीर्वाद चाहिए. दिल में तो कुछ और है. दिल में है कि कुलपति बन जाऊं. एक साहब ने कहा कुलपति का मतलब जो कुलपति वो ठीक से बोल नहीं पाता है, वो कुलपति. कुलपति इति कुलपति. पहले प्राचीन काल में कुलपति का कंसेप्शन ऐसा था कि वो 10,000 छात्रों को मुफ्त खिलाएं. बट जस्ट थिंक ऑफ इट, ही वांट्स टू बिकम ए कुलपति and he has gone to a great saint. Actually, this is not satsangati. He has gone to get benefit out of satsangati, but that is not satsangati, because although it is satam sangati, it is the sangati of a great personality, of a noble soul, but his soul is not in consonance with the concept of satsangati. Satsangati should be sate sangati, for the sake of the highest good. Sat is the highest truth, the highest self-realization. That is Sat. And for that sake, for the sake of the understanding and appreciation, realization of the highest truth, we entertain ourselves and we enjoy ourselves in the company of the noble, of the saintly, and we are elevated. So that enjoyment is a higher enjoyment. That is not for the sake of any material benefits. So remember that here satsangati should be sate sangati. For the sake of the highest truth, we have to go to the saints, the satam sangati. That is, we have to go to the company of the great, of the noble, of the saintly. So satsangati is the first step. The second step, dana. That is something which has always been a source of difficulty for me, because I have been doing a lot of jnana dana. I have been doing the dana of the highest kind, jnana dana. Apparently everybody says you are dani because you are giving jnana. But when I think of the books which contain knowledge, I am there not a dani. When a student comes to me and says, sir, give me your book of complex analysis by Titchmarsh, theory of functions by Titchmarsh, kindly give me this book. Then I say, you see, here I do not follow Shankaracharya. I cannot perform this dana. I will give you the knowledge that is contained in the book, but I cannot give you the book. You know why? Because our shishyas are so kind to us that if they take the books, they will never return the books. I can tell you that therefore dana must be satpatra dana. Dana to satpatra. The patra should be appropriate. It cannot be indiscriminate dana. So dana is the second step. Satsangatil dana. Vichara. Vichara is the third. Vichara cannot come unless a person becomes unselfish. You will see that a high court judge, any judge, at any stage when he is a judge, he has to be unselfish. And he can be called Vicharapati, Nyayadhisha, only if he goes beyond his personal self, his personal likes and dislikes. And Vichara is therefore very difficult. It presupposes that the person has been in Satsangati. It presupposes that he is a Dani. Only then he can have correct Vichara, discrimination. Then Vichara means intrinsically the capacity to distinguish between the good and the evil. Shreyascha preyascha manusya metastau sampaditya vivinakti dhiraha. Shreya and Preya are two things. Shreya is that which is really good, and Preya is that which is apparently good. I often tell my students, you see, if the teacher gives you solutions of the problems and notes and suggests that certain parts of the text material should be prepared for the examination, it is prayer. You are very happy. You say, Gurudev Jai, Jai Ho. Gurudev ki Jai Ho. गुरुदेव बहुत अच्छे हैं, क्योंकि कुछ ऐसा उन्होंने वातावरण बनाया है कि इम्तिहान में आसानी से नंबर मिल सकता है. लेकिन वो गुरु सही गुरु नहीं है ना. वो जो प्रेय है वो श्रेय है, वो श्रेय नहीं है. निश्रेयस डिमांड समथिंग एल्स. श्रेय इज दैट विच इज जेन्युइनली गुड. If a person studies the subject carefully without caring for the fruits of his study, not that he does not care to appear at the examination, but he is not preparing only for the examination, he is preparing to acquire knowledge, then only he attains Shreya. So Shreyascha Preyascha Manusya Metastau Sampaditya Vivinakti Dhiraha. The Dhira is a person who distinguishes between them. इन दोनों में क्षीर नीर विवेक कर सकते हैं, विवेचना कर सकते हैं कि ये सही में अच्छा है, वो आपाततः अच्छा. Then finally, vichara is followed by santosha. Supposing we have all these, we have enjoyed satsanga, we are dhanis, we are kind-hearted, generous, and then we have power of discrimination. Still we are not satisfied. We are constantly worried. What more can we do? What more should be attained by us? Constantly worried so much that we forget that we have already attained such a lot. So in the process of self-evolution, there should not be discontent. In the Western philosophy, discontent is preached, that we should have Socratic discontent. जैसे सॉक्रेटिस हर समय असंतुष्ट रहते थे, अभी तो कुछ भी नहीं जानता, ज्ञानहीन हूं मैं ही जानता हूं कि मैं अज्ञानी हूं. I know that I know not. And then he was constantly dissatisfied. It is better to be a Socrates dissatisfied than a human being satisfied. That kind of a philosophy is there in the West. But Socrates, of course, was a believer in higher values. But still, this kind of discontent is not there in our philosophy. We believe in santosha at all stages, because without santosha, without intrinsic sense of fulfillment, there will be agitation. The mind will be disturbed. The equilibrium of mind cannot be attained. One cannot be a sthita prajna, a sthitadhi. Therefore, there should be santosha at all stages. And Shankara puts it very beautifully. Kehe tavo brahmagatestu santi satsangatirdana vichara tosha. So tosha, santosha is also of very great importance. In the process of the evolution of the personality, towards a cultured personality, towards the highest stage of culture, santosha plays a very important role. In fact, nowadays modern philosophies of socialism and communism are very much materialistic, and they do not think in terms of santosha. If you tell people who are revolutionaries that they should practice santosha also, they think that we are backdated and we are regressive, we are reactionary, we don't want progress. But progress does not mean constant shouting and yelling and jumping and frisking for the sake of something more, high. That is not progress. Progress can be attained only when there is equilibrium of mind. Look at the Americans. Look at the Germans. They have attained great material progress, not by being dissatisfied all the while and shouting slogans all the while. It has now become a trend. I have always stood for this, that we should try to go higher, but we should never be dissatisfied, that we are frustrated, nothing is happening and we cannot attain anything. What is the use of all this? One gentleman one day asked me, what is the use of higher studies? Then I asked him, in which class in the university are you studying nowadays? He said, it's MA first year. I said, it is not very late. I will tell the Vice Chancellor that your name should be removed. Then he said, sir, why? I said, you do not want to study. You are doubtful that studies have hardly any value for you. You are asking what is the value of study? And 3 or 4 months have passed, you have joined, you made efforts to qualify at the entrance examination, and after 3 months you are asking, as if you got up from sleep, what is the value of study? I told him, look here what Lenin had said in Moscow. When the students asked him, what should be our duty? Then Lenin said, study. Then the students asked, sir, after studying, what shall we do? Then he said, study. Then they asked, sir, after further study, what shall we do? Then he said, again, study. You see, what a great, what a lofty principle he has raised before us. There is no discontent. Studies are going on, incessant study. That is a brahmachari. That is truly a person who deserves to belong to a Rishikula, a Gurukula. He can be a true Manavaka, he can be a true brahmachari, because he is full of the desire to pursue the truth, and he is not discontented, he is not upset, he is not anxious to get the benefits that should accrue. They will accrue in course of time. So friends, our concept of culture is based upon Purushartha, and finally it is an aesthetic culture. Sahitya Sangeeta Kala Vihina Sakshat Pashu Uttha Vishamina. Truly speaking, we have a principle that we should always distinguish ourselves from beasts, from the lower animals. So, you notice the lower animals, they have got certain instincts. Ahara nidra bhayamai thunani samani chaitani nrunam pasunam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesha dharmena hina pasubhi samana. Man becomes a beast if he is not guided by dharma. All his culture is meaningless if it is not a dharmic culture. And what dharma is it? It is not the dharma of a prophet like a Christ or a Buddha or a Muhammad. It is dharma in the sense of the highest principles for the highest good of mankind. That therefore is Sanatana Dharma. It is eternal dharma, and it is not the dharma of a particular prophet. And Ahara, Nidra and Bhaya and Maithuna, these are common between lower animals and man. But only dharma raises man to the status of man. So friends, today I will beg leave of you by saying that our culture is a spiritual culture based on Sanatana Dharma. It is an aesthetic culture which believes in the highest principles of aesthetic Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Satyam and Shivam are not enough, but they should culminate in Sundaram. And with such a cultural background, let us march forward to a more and more cultured society. And at the end I will recite the Vedic hymn, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vadhi Tamastuma Viddushavahai. Om Shanti Shanti.
You were listening to an audio program, Indian Conception of Culture, Part 2. Subject expert was Professor Tribikram Pati, Sound Editor Piyush Kamble, Anchor Danish Uzma Qureshi. This program was directed and recorded by Amar Bahadur Yadav and produced by Electronic Media Production and Research Center of Madhya Pradesh Bhoj Open University.